You know, not many films come along with the kind of pressure that's building around 28 years later. So what's really behind all the hype for the sequel we've waited so long for? In this explainer, we're going to break down the anatomy of that anticipation and figure out if this movie can possibly live up to its own massive legend.
It really all boils down to this number, 28 years. I mean, think about that. That's an entire generation of waiting. The original film, 28 Days Later, didn't just tell a great story, it completely changed a genre, and that legacy has created a level of expectation that feels, well, almost impossible to meet.
And that really brings us to the central question, doesn't it? How on earth do you follow up a classic that redefined a whole genre? This isn't just about making another good movie. It's about honoring a legacy while somehow creating something totally new. That hype? It's both a huge promise and, yeah, a monumental challenge. So to really get why today is such a big deal, we've got to take a quick look at the past. Let's remember what made this franchise so iconic in the first place.
Okay, at the heart of everything was the rage virus. These were not your parents' slow, shambling zombies, right? They were fast, they were terrifying, and they were human vessels of just pure, unfiltered aggression. That one simple twist absolutely revitalized the entire genre.
The journey to get here has been a long one. Way back in 2002, we got that raw, gritty original. Then, in 2007, 28 weeks later, blew the doors off and expanded the chaos. And now, after this huge gap, we're finally getting the promise of a real, direct continuation of that very first story.
So why is the excitement so crazy intense this time around? Well, it seems like several key ingredients have come together to create what's basically a perfect storm of anticipation. Let's break down that winning formula.
Okay, first and probably most important, the original architects are back. We're talking director Danny Boyle and writer Alex Garland. Their unique vision is what made that first film feel so visceral and real. For anyone who's been a fan from the start, their return is the single biggest factor. It's a signal that we're going back to what made it great.
And they are not coming back alone. I mean, look at this cast. It is stacked with talent like Jodie Comer, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, and Ralph Fiennes. But the real kicker, the thing that connects it all to the past, is the return of Cillian Murphy as Jim. His presence is what grounds this whole new story in the original's legacy. Then, there's the money. A $75 million budget. To put that in perspective, the original film was made for just $8 million. That is a massive leap. It tells you the studio isn't treating this like some gritty indie horror film. They're treating it like a major blockbuster event. It promises a scale we've just never seen from this series.
And get this, it's not a one-and-done deal. The plan is for a whole new trilogy. They're already developing a film called 28 Decades Later. I mean, that shows some serious confidence from the creators, right? They're not just trying to revive a franchise, they're building a whole new saga.
But with all this promise comes some serious pressure. Can this movie possibly deliver on nearly 3 decades of fan dreams? Let's flip the coin and look at the potential pitfalls here.
You know, hype is always a double-edged sword. On one side, you've got all that amazing promise, a franchise revival, the original vision, incredible talent. But on the other side, you've got the peril, these crushing expectations, and the very real risk that the story could feel either too familiar or just tonally off from the originals.
So let's get specific on the challenges. First up, those massive expectations. How do you satisfy fans who've been waiting this long? Second, you have to nail the tone and keep it consistent with the originals. Third, there's that delicate dance between innovating the plot and just repeating the past. And finally, you have to bring in all these new characters alongside a legend like Jim and make sure everyone gets a story that actually matters. It's a tough balancing act.
Okay, so when you weigh all that incredible promise against these really significant challenges, what's the final verdict? What is this movie's ultimate potential?
In the end, it really comes down to this simple but powerful assessment. Despite all the risks, the combination of the talent, the budget, and the creative vision makes this whole thing highly anticipated and exceptionally promising. The potential here seems to outweigh the peril.
And here's a final look, kind of a tale of the tape, if you will. On the left, you've got those undeniable strengths. The original creative team, that A-list cast, the big budget, and the ambitious plan for a trilogy. And on the right, all the hurdles they've got to clear. It gives you a really clear, balanced picture of why this film is such a fascinating, high-stakes gamble.
So the big takeaway here isn't just that this could be a great sequel. No, its potential is way higher than that. With the original minds back at the helm, 28 years later could do exactly what the first film did all those years ago, completely reinvent the genre for a whole new era.
So, who should be marking their calendars for this one? Well, it's looking like a must-see for 3 key groups. Of course, the die-hard fans of the original films, anyone who loves smart, post-apocalyptic horror, and viewers who are just looking for intense, character-driven thrillers.
And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. The stage is absolutely set for a monumental return, for a film that's carrying the weight of a whole generation of fandom on its shoulders. So the ultimate question is, will it channel all that energy into something that once again redefines horror? Or, is some rage just best left in the past?